Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the next video on water and polarity, and what we're going through is the vocabulary associated with this unit and understanding how that vocabulary connects to what we're learning about. Let's get started on this next video. Alright, so before we go through and begin anything, let's review what a polar molecule is. A polar molecule is a molecule that has a slightly positive region and a slightly negative region. So if we go through and review this, we know that the oxygen has an overall negative charge, and the two hydrogens have an overall positive charge. If you don't know this by now, you need to go through and make sure we understand and review that before delving into the content in this video. Now, what we're going to be looking at is a couple of vocabulary words. We're going to be looking at cohesion, which is the bonding of one water molecule to another water molecule. So we're thinking of water to water. And this is going to lead to a vocabulary word called surface tension, which we'll delve into in a little bit. We also need to understand the vocabulary word adhesion. This is the bonding of a water molecule to another polar substance. This is water to a polar substance. This is going to lead to a vocabulary word that we're going to describe as capillary action. And capillary action is the action in which water is going to move up trees during the process of transpiration. So what we're doing is we're trying to think about these four vocabulary words and how they're related to polarity and water molecules. Alright, so let's go through and look at cohesion first. Cohesion is when one water molecule sticks to another water molecule due to hydrogen bonds. So cohesion is between water due to these hydrogen bonds, and it's important for us to understand that because when water sticks to another water molecule, it's because of the hydrogen bonding. It's that bonding and the attraction between a hydrogen atom and one water molecule. The positive end of that hydrogen is going to attach to the negative end of the oxygen, and so on and so forth. Now, adhesion is when a water molecule forms a hydrogen bond to another substance, but it is not another water molecule. So water is going to be polar. If we were to go through and take this water and go through and attach it to a glass, we know that the glass is also polar, and the water is going to stick to the glass. That's important for us to understand the two basic vocabulary words because the vocabulary words that we're going to look on next build upon the vocabulary words that we're learning about now. Cohesion is water to water, adhesion is water to another polar substance. Now, the next vocabulary word we're going to look at is what we call surface tension. So let's go through and look at this diagram here in order to understand it. We have air, and we have liquid, and we have the surface in between that air and that liquid. Each one of these blue spheres represents a water molecule. And what we can see here is we're going to have cohesive forces that are going to neighbor across these water molecules. And we can see that they're all going to be going through and interacting with each other. And the hydrogen bonds are going to cause those water molecules to go through and create even amounts of forces amongst that molecule. Now, we're going to have these water molecules that are going to exist along the surface. They're going to be missing some cohesive forces. So since they are missing the cohesive forces that exist in the other water molecules, what we can see here is the net force is going to be directed to the interior of the medium. The net force is going to be directed down. So what we can see here is the surface tension of a liquid is going to result from an imbalance between these intermolecular attractive forces, these cohesive forces between the molecules. So when we talk about surface tension, well, surface tension, all it is a measure of the strength of a surface of a liquid. And it's really because of those missing molecules and the net direction of the force. So the surface tension of a liquid results in an imbalance of intermolecular attractive forces, cohesive forces between molecules. What this is going to do is it's going to produce a surface film that allows small insects to walk on the water. Surface tension is important because this allows life to move across that water medium and allows them to move in a way that can allow them to go through and travel across bodies of water. So again, surface tension is due to cohesive forces. So this is a vocabulary word built upon cohesion, which is water to water attraction. Now, the next vocabulary word that we're looking at is capillary action. And this is an example of adhesions. We're building upon that vocabulary word from before. It is when a water is moving up the roots through a plant stem into the leaves of a flower. So if we have our tree here, our trees are going to go through and use this capillary action to draw water from the soil in order to go through photosynthesis. Plants need water to go through and do that. Now they're going to use these adhesive forces as well as cohesive forces, but adhesive forces to move the water from the root systems out the stomata. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail. And as that water moves, it's going to interact with the different shoots and root systems along the tree and those polar substances, allowing the water to go through and move. Without this process, trees would not be able to consume water and photosynthesis wouldn't occur. The trees just simply would not survive. So capillary action, again, we are building upon that vocabulary word of adhesion. It's important for us to understand these 4 vocabulary words. All right, so let's go through and review the 4 terms that we must know. We're going to break it up into blocks. Cohesion, that is going to be the bonding of one water molecule to another water molecule. Adhesion is the bonding of a water molecule to another polar substance. Surface tension is going to build upon cohesion, and it's the measure of a strength at the surface of a liquid. And then lastly, here we have capillary action. This is the water moving from the roots up through the plant stem into the leaves of a flower, allowing photosynthesis to occur. There's a few things that we should have learned from this video. We should have learned what cohesion and adhesion are, and then the subsequent terms that occur from that: surface tension and capillary action. And lastly, what we need to be thinking about is how the terms apply to the biological systems, how surface tension applies to organisms, and how capillary action applies to organisms as well. This is going to be the end of the video. I will see you all in class tomorrow.